And there we go. Hello, my name is Reverend Glenn Stewart Coles, and tonight I am going to be speaking about how to remain spiritual in times of chaos. Now, just to do a poll, I'm sure I know the answer already. Who thinks we're in chaos? I think we're probably in the most chaotic time of the world that we've ever experienced as individuals, with the COVID and the lockdown and the economy and all the political stuff and all the different things that are going on. And it seems like the world is wired. We turn on the news, there's stuff going on. We go to Facebook, or we go to Twitter, or we go to our friend's place, or we look at the newspaper. There's stuff going on every day, and it's fascinating. It's almost like, oh my God, what's next? And in one sense, we all hope it's going to settle down. In the other sense, we all know it's not going to yet. We're not at the settling point. We're just ramping up in the chaos that is occurring in humanity. And tonight I'm going to talk about some of the tools that are available to us to navigate our way through these challenging times. And there's three key elements that I'm going to speak about. One is balance, the other is detachment, and finally there is empowerment. And I'm going to speak about each of these in detail. So the concept of balance. Our balance exists in the moment. In any particular moment in time, we're either balanced or imbalanced. And that changes constantly. So we have to look at the total experience that we were having to decide, is our life balanced? Because we know that things are constantly going to be changing and altering. And I think about what it was like to ride a bicycle. And you think about a bicycle, and when you're on the bike, you start to pedal and you're moving along, and you must constantly adjust. You adjust for the bumps, you adjust for the hills, you adjust for the wind, you adjust for the direction you want to go. Every time you turn those pedals, you are adjusting to remain in a position of balance. Now, if you slow the bike down and bring it to a stop, and try to stay balanced sitting on a bike that's not moving, it's really tough. You're going to be wobbling, and eventually you're going to have to put your foot on the ground. And what we learn from this is balance exists in motion. When you're moving on a bicycle, it's much easier to balance as you move. When you're moving through life, it is much easier to remain balanced if you are continually progressing. Because there's always stuff going to come at you. As you move forward, you can continually adjust. And it's those adjustments that bring us into balance. Now, there's tools that we work on a regular basis in this group and at the church, and that is the tool of meditation. Part of meditation is learning the ability to just simply disconnect, to shut down from the whirlwind of thoughts, to shut down from all the needs of the world, and to just center within yourself. And as we practice this, as we get this skill down pat, it becomes simple to just balance. And in that moment of balance, what we're doing is we are disconnecting from all the scattered, and we are reconnecting our core. Once your core energy is balanced, you begin to calm, your breathing begins to slow, your mind gets rid of the chatter and becomes much more capable of analyzing and looking at things and becoming aware. So that position of power is something that you can train yourself to do. I do it numerous times every day. I have for years, and that's why for me it's so simple to just and it's something that I compare to a computer and I call reboot. In a reboot, you cleanse, you get rid of everything in memory. You start with the blank slate and then you begin again. So that ability for us to balance is constant, but we can enhance that by using our own power to be able to step away from what's making us imbalanced and then balance ourselves and then step back in again. And one of the things that knocks us out of balance is triggers. I'm going to say a word and I'm going to ask you to be aware of your responses, your feelings, your emotions, or your need to express an opinion. When I say the word Trump, as I say that, I would expect that just about everyone had some kind of emotional response to that word, some kind of opinion that goes along with that word. Let's try another one. Face masks. When we hear the word face masks, again, just about everyone has an opinion. Just about everybody has feelings. Some people have very bold emotional feelings about face masks. Some people have no feelings about face masks. But the word is a trigger. And it's really to your advantage to become aware of how you respond to triggers, because triggers are being pushed at you constantly every day. It's a tool that's being used in modern media. It's a tool that's being used in politics. Push those buttons, push those triggers, garnish an emotional response, get people wanting to express their opinions. And that is a tool that's being used to manipulate people right now. If you can be manipulated by having your triggers pushed, by having your buttons pushed, if a word can make you suddenly emotional and needing to engage in debate, if your triggers can be manipulated, then you can be manipulated. And it's really easy to do. You know, try an experiment. Go into, we can't go into bars anymore, but go into an area where people are socializing and say Trump, and then stand back and watch things begin to unfold and realize that that word changed everybody's behavior, that it changed everybody's abilities, that it weakened their position of power simply because that trigger word has such an effect. So if you want to work towards your personal balance, one of the first steps is to become aware of your response to triggers. And they're going to happen every day through the media, through what people say. Something as simple as reading a headline on a newspaper as you walk past the newsstand can say, oh, you know, and it garnishes response. Emotional responses are a very powerful tool that we can use. All change has occurred because of anger about something. People saying, I don't want it to be like this anymore, so change happens. So emotional responses can be a very good thing, but they also can take away our power if we are susceptible to easily having buttons pushed. So raise your awareness of how you respond to trigger words and realize that it's not necessary to express your opinion all the time. You know, somebody said to me today on Facebook, who wants to debate face masks? And I said, nope, thanks, not me. And I moved on to something else. If I'd said yes, we could have spent half an hour debating our opinions. And at the end of it, nothing's changed. I've just reinforced my opinions and he's just reinforced his. So why waste time on that debate? I didn't fall for that trigger. And as a result, it gave me power over what I can do and create. So remain highly aware of how you personally respond to trigger words. Now, the concept of detachment. You ever been watching a movie and you get halfway through the movie and you're kind of tired and you think, what's more important to me? Watching the end of this movie or going to bed and falling asleep? And a lot of times, if the movie's not interesting, or if you have it on DVD where you can pause, you can just turn it off and detach. You're not tied to seeing the end of that movie at that moment. You can step away. You know, if you go to a hockey game and the two teams playing mean nothing to you, then you don't have emotional attachment to the outcome. You're detached. You can just sit back and observe and watch a good hockey game, but you're not tied into whether the Maple Leafs win or lose. And it is that detachment that gives us power. It doesn't mean we need to be detached from everything. And I'll give it a couple of examples. We have wanting in our life about certain things, about how we want other people to experience, about how we see what happens in other people's lives. So for example, we want our parents to be healthy. We want our children to be safe and secure and happy. So that wanting, yes, we have an attachment to it because it's about someone we love. And that's okay. I mean, we know if you have attachment, there is the possibility of pain, but at the same time, it drives your actions, right? If you want your children to be safe, you're going to do the things that are necessary to keep your children safe. If you want your parents to be healthy, you're going to spend time with them to make sure they have what they need so they can lead a happy, healthy lifestyle. So attachment to those outcomes is okay. You're creating, you're manifesting. But at the same time, being too attached to things takes away your power. If you are so focused on certain things must happen this way, and then they don't, you're disappointed, you're upset, you're anxious, whatever happens is not within your control. Being able to step back and allow, when you pray, when you say, dear Creator, please, make someone healthy, or please find me a job, or please make my landlord skip my rent, or whatever you happen to be praying for, as you remain attached to the outcome, you do two things. You give away your power to that outcome, and you make yourself vulnerable if that outcome does not occur. Sometimes we have to allow that outcomes are going to be different than what we pray for. Imagine Terry Fox. Terry Fox was the young man who lost a leg to cancer and ran halfway across the country on a fundraiser. He became famous, and they've been having Terry Fox runs every year since. Now imagine when he was ill and his mother was praying, "Oh God, please make Terry's leg better." And God didn't. And the mother was upset. Why aren't my prayers being answered? Right? My poor son, he's suffering through this. He eventually died because of it. And the mother just couldn't understand, why were my prayers not answered? But we know, now that we know the whole story, that it was his legacy. If Terry Fox's leg had suddenly been fixed and made better, then all the goodness that he brought to the world wouldn't have occurred. It was necessary for him to get cancer. It was necessary for him to lose his leg in order to bring to the world all that he brought to the world. So we don't always know the answers. So to detach, to say our prayer, here's what I would like to occur, we also must leave it open-ended that we don't always know what is the best step on the pathway. When I prayed about not losing my job, please make things work out so I can keep this job and keep this income. And then I got laid off anyway, and it was, why do these bad things happen to me? If I hadn't been laid off from that job in 2012, I wouldn't be here as a reverend in front of you right now. My whole pathway of life opened up because of what I didn't want. So allowing things to unfold and detaching from the need to control outcomes gives us power, because then we can respond to what actually does occur. Now, the concept of empowerment. We get frustrated, we get angry when things don't go our way. We want stuff to happen. We do not control the world. There are almost 8 billion people, 7 billion and 800,000, and it grows every minute. Every one of those people has an opinion. Every one of them has needs. Oftentimes those opinions and needs are in direct conflict with each other. All this stuff is going on out there. And then there is random chance, and then there is weather issues, and then there is climate issues, and then there's all these different things that are being thrown into this soup and stirred around. We can't control that. That's where we feel weak. That's where we feel frustrated, because we want to control it. We want to make the world better. We want to save the children. We want to stop hunger. We want to stop poverty. But we can't. In our individual moment, we cannot do that. Where our power comes from is two things. Number one, allowing that continuous movement towards something results in its manifestation. And also allowing for what I call the ripple effect. Every time you do something good, it ripples. It has an effect. You smile at someone in the grocery store, and you're the first person to smile at them all day, and they smile back, and suddenly now they take that smile and they go home and they pass it along to their spouse, who passes that along to their kids, and suddenly your smile has rippled out and changed the days for other people. Tiny actions make a difference. Big actions make a difference. You know, people put together a Christmas charity drive and feed all kinds of families. And yes, it takes effort to do that, but the outcome is all these people have happier lives. And as they have happier lives, they're passing it along to other people, and so on and so on. So one of my targets, one of my goals in life is to continually create ripples. This speech is a ripple. If I have impact on anyone's thoughts and then they turn around and go out and help someone because of it, there's the ripple, and there it gets passed along. Now multiply that by 7.8 billion people. Imagine if every human on earth got up in the morning and said, today I am going to make positive ripples that make the world better. And one person does it, and another does it, and another does it. And next thing you know, the world's changed. Because instead of going out to make things worse for other people, we're going out to make things better for other people. And that's how change occurs. And that's where you have power. You have power in every step of your day as to what you create, as to what you put out, as to what type of energy you are giving to others. And it is that energy that you create within yourself that creates your light and that has those ripple effects. That's where we have power. We have power within. We have power about what we think about. We have power about what we speak about. We have power choosing what we're going to actually do. And when those thoughts become actions, they manifest into outcomes. It may take minutes, it may take years, but if you continually move towards an outcome, the likelihood is it's going to occur unless Creator has something better to give to you. So ultimately, all of the things I've said means that we are powerful. We are powerful in managing our day, and managing our life, and managing our future, and in affecting those around us. First, by maintaining our balance. Secondly, by detaching, and therefore not falling down when things don't go our way, but continuing to move forward. And finally, to seek empowerment. Empowerment is often reframing. If you look at a picture in a certain way, it doesn't look pretty. You turn the picture around and suddenly it looks great. Reframing says, yes, we are powerful individuals. Yes, I can make a difference, and it begins within me. It was the author Deepak Chopra who said, all great changes are preceded by chaos. Well, we're in the middle of chaos, and personally, I see that there are great, great changes coming our way. We are powerful people. We're making a difference. Humanity is awakening, and you are part of that. We will be open now for any talks and discussions that we wish to come our way.